looking forward to having you all on board with us. Remember that this is, of course, a live and interactive show. So chat to me, say hello, let me know who you are, maybe where you're watching from, and yes, if there is anything that you'd like to ask along the way, you can do so, however is most convenient for you. Jamie, yes, hello, Ellie's for the win. It's actually really nice to start with an elephant. We did have a few yesterday, but we normally have a lot more, so it will be interesting to see. The weather's a little bit warmer today as well, although it is still quite overcast in the low veld at least, but you can see the sun is definitely shining here a little bit further north in southern Africa. And this is a massive elephant bull, my goodness me. Just look how widely set those tusks are and the size of that head. Des, you'd like to know if the birds are in danger with the elephant? No, I would say they are not. Those are some Egyptian geese that we can see there. And they live very harmoniously with the elephant. The only time really the elephant would maybe be upset with them is it's usually younger Ellies, and they'll try and chase the Egyptian geese, but not necessarily to hurt it or to attack it. It's more just a little bit of trying to show off their strength, especially some of the young boys. Or they'll move out the way if an elephant's just walking towards the water. And of course, the bigger you are, the more presence you have, and generally everything moves out of your way. Alright, apparently something has arrived at Aldonio, so let's head over there. Here we go, a giraffe to start us off in Kenya, and it is here for a drink. Looks like a beautiful day here in Kenya. Lots of clouds around. We are in the rainy season, so there will be lots of cloud cover and quite variable in terms of sunshine, and then all of a sudden it can rain a bit and then it's sunny again with these passing showers. But the sun is out a little bit, so I'm sure this giraffe is enjoying having a drink here. Beautiful reflection too. Peter, thank you. It's so good to be back at the waterhole. I love being here with you all and just enjoying whatever it is that we get to see across the different locations that we have the Africam cameras. Okay, let's head to camel thorn. Now I believe we have a croc that's on the move. It looks like an impression there, a bit of a track that you can see some movement of something. I wouldn't be surprised if it was sort of the body with the tail of the croc that's made that impression, and the legs and feet on either side. Maybe it's heading back towards some water. Alright, we're going to see if we can find this croc that was moving. We're going to head back to that giraffe. Mr. Elemental, hello. You say it's blue skies here in Two People's Bay in Western Australia. Well, that is lovely to hear that you're enjoying some blue skies. Ooh, toilet time for the giraffe. Nothing like some refreshing water to just get the system going. Well, always lovely to see some action here at Aldonia. We're going to head all the way down south to Founders in the Eastern Cape. This is so cool. The colors are incredible, and even the colors of this giraffe, my goodness me. Now, Flo, you had an interesting question. You want to know, are the hooves part of the bone? Now, this is a great shot for us to see the giraffe hoof, but not only giraffe hooves, you can think of any antelope or any species, buffalo as well, that have hooves that look like this. But no, Flo, they are not part of the bone. They are a protective covering made of a completely different substance called keratin, which is modified hair that coats the outside of the bone and protects tissues, ligaments, as well as the bone. So it is not bone, and it sits on the outside. It grows continuously and is worn down as the animal lives its life and moves over different substrates. And so that is what it's basically like. If our fingernails had to grow out and cover our entire hand together with a lot of other tissue and of course the bones and ligaments and things like that. So I hope that makes sense. Let's head over to Moella. Oh, lovely. We've got a little sandpiper here, it looks like. Just have to check exactly which one it is. I think it might be wood, just with the way that there's a bit of streaking on the front of the chest and neck. Always difficult to gauge the exact size. It does look like it has yellowish legs. Just have to check if it has a brow streak. I don't think it's a common, it's a little bit big for that. And also it doesn't have that very distinct little white shoulder above the wing. But sometimes the feathers don't sit exactly right either, so we'll have to try and get see if we can get a really clear view. Oh, that's lovely. Yes. Now it does look like it has the right texture on the feathers as well, with the little bits of white and brown, and also the very yellow leg as well, which is also a key indicator. So I would say that is a wood sandpiper. Rachel, yes, the water is beautiful, isn't it? Okay, for some more birding, let's head over to Lentor. Oh wow, beautiful. My goodness me. Looks like a lot of variety, some firefinches, some weavers. There was red-billed quelea as well there. You can clearly see that. So pretty. Oh, a little wax bull. Look at that blue. These colors are amazing. There's one of the male weavers with he's in his full plumage there. Apologies everyone, we lost the feed there, but we will be back to head to Tau at the moment, where there are some waterbuck. A little bit more cloudy here, it seems, but it is nice to always see the oh, it's actually raining. I was wondering if those were drops, and then I looked at the water and I can see that. How wonderful. The rain is definitely needed. We've got all the water birds, very, very happy. Egyptian geese, white-faced whistling ducks, red-billed teals. So Theo, you want to know why those birds are called sandpipers. I mean, I actually had to check this because I knew that the sand part was often because they're found in sandy areas, although not all of them, but a lot of them do occur on coastal shorelines or estuaries and that type of thing because of what they eat, of course, in freshwater habitats as well, but generally sand-like areas. The piper I wasn't sure about, so I had to check, and I thought maybe it had something to do with their like long pipe-like bills, but it actually has to do with their call sounding like this high-pitched vocalization that they make, which it sounds like whistles from a pipe. So there we go. We all learned something new today. Well, maybe some of you knew that, so I won't claim it for everyone, but definitely on behalf of Theo and myself. You can see there's an African spoonbill there. And oh, there's some young Egyptian geese around as well. They've actually grown up quite big already. And there they go. You can see they're slightly different coloration from the adults. How lovely to see the rain. Soft summer rains. Brian, it's wonderful when bird names are obvious. I think, that is, oftentimes they are actually named after something quite obvious, I guess. But there are some names that are not so. But with the spoonbill, it's very on the nose, as it were. Well, from a rainy town, let's see what the weather is doing at Tembe. Wow, how beautiful is this, everyone? My goodness. I know we say it every time, but it doesn't get old. It doesn't look like it's raining here. It actually looks like it's partly cloudy today. The elephants are out.
Let's go and take a look. See you out there.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Are definitely predators, and probably quite a few smaller predators, not only something like big cats, maybe African wild cat, even mongooses as well are considered to be predatory in nature. Well, from a beautiful scene here, let's head back to another beautiful scene at Founders with that giraffe. every giraffe has a different style when it comes to drinking, don't they? Some do the sort of full straight leg, very stretched hamstrings, if I was to do that, and otherwise some bend the leg if they prefer it. Some do one bent, one straight. Seems to be the theme. Have a drink, and then it's time to have your tummy work. We saw it here, and we saw it in Kenya, which is quite interesting. We'll have to see if it happens again with other giraffes that come for a drink. We have got some oryx in Kenya now, so let's head over there. Looks like just the one's popping out at the moment here with this fringe-eared oryx. Sometimes we see them by themselves, sometimes we do see them in the group. It looks like a male. Can see a little bit of a belly button there, which is actually his penile sheath. And I find that the male oryx, even whether it's the gemsbok in southern Africa or the fringe-eared here, they have shorter, thicker horns than the females that are longer and sharper and thinner, sort of coming to a more pointy end. David, it's a great question with regards to the humming of giraffe, the infrasound that has been picked up in research that has been done. And yes, it does tend to happen more in the evening times. Oh, the oryx is sitting down. Lovely. Time to do a bit of ruminating. And I think, realistically, that communication is being done to communicate with other giraffes. I can't imagine them using the energy and the effort to make that sound and them to be speaking or trying to communicate with another species. So realistically, David, I would say it is to communicate with other giraffes. Now, the distance at which that can be heard, I think it is something that is still ongoing in terms of the details of what we can learn and understand about giraffes and also their social structure from the information that has been found about their infrasound production. So it's something that, in terms of new research and if there is any new scientific conclusions, I haven't read about that recently. But if there is any new info, please do feel free to share it. It's always something that we're on the lookout for, because it is a relatively recent discovery. Giraffes always thought to be completely silent, so the fact that they do make this infrasonic sound is so fascinating, and there's so much more that I think we have to learn about giraffes, and always thought to be temporary associative creatures. Maybe their social structures are actually a lot more complex, and potentially because of that communication, maybe they are in permanent groups, but just much further spread than what we ever thought. So it's a fascinating one, and I do hope that those who are conducting the research that they do on giraffes will be able to tell us more fairly soon. Let's head over to Moella for some elephants. This is so peaceful, these two here, one a lot larger than the other. If you see the one that's closest to us really being quite a lot taller, the head's also a lot bigger. Look at the tusks as well, much thicker and widely set away from the trunk. And these are all things that help tell us, you know, who is the older, who's the younger, and also just the way there's a little bit of dominance going on with this trough. Now, I don't know if it's a specific intention of this larger bull to keep the other bull away, but it's interesting to note. Let's quickly head over to Rosie's. Very cool. Look at this. And it's fascinating to see a hippo come out of the water. You know, usually we are so used to seeing them in the water lazing away, but it is very overcast today in the Lowveld, and although it is warm, it's definitely, there's not direct sun, so it means that it's more comfortable for something like a hippo, which is usually tucked away in the heat of the day in this protection of the water, although there are many hippos that do love a little bit of a sunbathe. But they'll go in and out of the water to cool off again when they start to get a little bit too warm. Koala, yes, a very cute hippo. It looked like a young male there. You could clearly see the genitalia between the legs when he got out, which makes sense as well. We don't often find females alone in a pool. They will generally be with their family group or with their calves with more hippos together. But what happens with young males is they actually pushed out of those groups or pods, and the dominant territorial male of, let's say, a larger waterhole will not want other potential threats like other males around. So these younger ones will have to find other pools to hang out in. Wow, moving quickly. Hey, it's incredible how fast they can actually disappear. Oh, let's head over to Roy's. I believe there are some monkeys around. I can see a vervet just very well camouflaged. There he is moving up the tree there. Very quickly moving through the trees, but it's always nice to see as much variety as we can on the show. Let's head back over to Moella. Ronnie, great question. Thank you for asking it. You want to know whose tail is longer, the giraffe or an elephant? So with giraffes being the tallest land mammals, they do have longer tails. I had to check the exact measurements for you because I think it is quite interesting. So giraffes, their tails can reach around 2.5 meters. So that's about 8 feet in length. And of course, that being on very large individuals, probably males that are bigger than females, but it probably ranges anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 meters. The African elephant, on the other hand, has a tail length of 1 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet. So there's quite a big difference there in the length of the tail, and that includes the tuft of hair. So not just where the bones end, but where the hair, of course, a giraffe generally having very long sweeping hair at the end of its tail. The elephant is a lot less sort of flowy, I would say, which also adds to the length for a giraffe's tail. Alright, let's head to camel form. Oh, here we go, a herd arriving for some water. They look very excited indeed. There we go, look at that, immediately throwing on the sides and behind the ears. It seems like a very warm day here in Botswana today. It's interesting, these elephants have chosen to do their splashing first, which I've noticed is often the case. They'll want to do their muddying up and then they'll move off to perhaps a different spot to do their drinking.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Woo! This is action-packed.
And that's it for this morning's drive.
She's just got her impala, everybody.
And we're going to be heading out and seeing what animals we can find.
Enjoying cleaner water if they can find it. Okay, let's head over to some buffaloes at Shalati. Well, always nice to see some hanging out here, and this is a place where we very regularly do see them, and the sandbank is like the beach for buffaloes. Maybe we should just name it Buffalo Beach. Oh, Heather, you say Buffalo Bay. That's a great suggestion. So many options. Now this looks like 4 cows that are sitting here together. You can see their tops of their heads are not those really big, we call them bosses, or big sort of scrum caps that they have on top of the head. Skull caps would probably be more appropriate since they don't play rugby. But interesting, because we usually actually see quite a few bulls around. So maybe the rest of the herd are somewhere close by. Yeah, Duncan, these are a lot more brown. I do think it depends on the angle, and also if these are some older individuals, their rumps do tend to lose a lot of hair, and so it does become lighter in color. You'll see more around the neck area. They are still quite dark, closer to black. Alright, well, from buffaloes we are going to head over for some more elephants. Oh, lovely. They are coming for a drink. It seems like more are still on their way, so hopefully we're going to be seeing a lot more having a drink here soon. Ken, you want to know what is special about buffalo horns. Ken, I don't know if there's anything particularly special about buffalo horns in comparison to other animal horns. They are, of course, unique to that of buffalo in terms of their shape and the way that they sit on the head, and also the fact that the males have this thickening on top of the skull in comparison to the females. But there's nothing special about them in terms of what they're made of, the same as any other animal horns. They are bone that comes from the skull and is covered in keratin, which is exactly what we were talking about earlier in the show with regards to the giraffe hoof, and the fact that that is not part of the bone but simply just a covering over the foot bones. And it's the same here, although in the foot there's a lot more sort of tendons and ligaments and tissue that's involved, whereas with this it's just pretty much directly keratin onto the bone. There's not sort of soft tissue in between that, from what I've seen, observed myself. It's almost like a sleeve that sits on top. It does seem like there are a few more buffaloes around. I did see some movement towards the bottom of the screen, so I do think that there's a herd in the area. Yuri, Buffalo Bluff. Oh, you all are so amazing. I'm so glad that we have more creativity than just myself and Nadine, who's directing the show, to come up with the names. Vicky, you'd like to know if they will swim for fun like elephants. So actually at Sandringham Private Game Reserve, where I've just been on the live drives for our sunrise and sunset safaris, we have seen, not in my most recent stint, but on another day, it was exceptionally hot, and the buffaloes did get into the Timbavati River, and where there's quite a lot of water. But it was more about the feeding on the water plants. Of course, it cooled them down, but I haven't seen them playing like elephants do. So to answer your question, Vicky, I think they do swim for a purpose, so that is to cool down and then also maybe to cross a river to get to a different area. But in terms of actually just going and playing around, of course, even for elephants, it's primarily to cool down, but then they do have fun and enjoy themselves, which we love to watch. But I wouldn't say that buffaloes do the exact same thing. No, there's always an exception to that. Who knows? But I haven't seen buffaloes playing like I've seen elephants playing before. Or at least they definitely don't do it as regularly. Well, from these buffalo, we're going to head over to Safari Hook. Well, a pretty place to come to. Beautiful reflections in the water. There's some springbuck around. And always nice to head over to Namibia and see what's happening this side. Well, it looks like we're getting the buffalo stare from the zebras today. think they are on their way to have some water, and if they do, that will be wonderful. They are so pretty when they line up to have a drink. And there's one brave soul leading the way. Now they're all deciding to follow. Yeah, Kelly, I agree. I think the heat does make them, the heat haze does make them even more dazzling. And Anita, yes, the desert locations are very dramatic. You've got such contrasts. Oh, there's a gemsbok as well making an appearance. Contrast in colors with the blue and the limited vegetation, although there is some coming through now. The white ground, the color of the animals themselves, and then the reflection in the water. So Gatsheni, if you have a look at, the gemsbok we saw here, and we see blessbuck sometimes at founders, so we'll keep an eye out to see if one does make an appearance there today. But they actually look very, very, very different from one another. Also, their habitats are quite different too, although there can be overlap. Generally, even within reserves where they occur, you don't necessarily see them together. Well, I haven't, at least, but they sort of move in different sections. However, their coloration is completely different. So gemsbok are more grey with the black and white coloration on them, but the majority of their body is sort of this grey colour, whereas the blessbuck is more brown, almost entirely. They've also got white markings on them, and the white on the face, of course, and then their horns are a lot smaller. They've got a bit of a curl to them, whereas the gemsbok are completely straight like a spear, and the gemsbok are also a lot larger in size than a blessbok. You can just see that one moving away there now. Amy, and behind the camera with me is Paul. And I mean, to be able to share it with all of you. Fingers crossed, and I'll make sure I wear my lucky leopard socks as well.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Every week, the wilderness delivers.
And that's why we're here.
Drama, chaos, crimes, humour. All moments you'll never forget. We've counted them down, argued about them, and finally picked the very best. From rare sightings to classic bush showdowns, this is nature's weekly highlight reel. Sharp facts, bad jokes, and the wildest top 5 you'll see this side of the savannah. It's not just a show, it's a wild bush week.
You can see that red-billed oxpecker there on the impala leg. Candace, no. So that is a myth. Impalas are not able to delay or stop the sort of force of labor, if you want to put it that way. The lambs will be born after their 6-month gestation, roughly, and that is what it is. Now there is a myth or a story that unfortunately has been passed on, and some guides or those who maybe have heard it themselves and have just passed on the story about impalas being able to delay the birth of their young to coincide with the rains. But impalas do not have a magical ability to be able to do that. Nature follows a system, and the animal is not in charge of when that labor takes place or where the young is born. However, it does tend to happen because of the time when the rut is and the time when the first births take place, that it does sometimes occur just after some really big rains and when it's all greened up. And so I think that is where that myth possibly came from, but it is not true that they actually can control when they begin their labor or put off having their lambs. They will come when they are due, after the correct amount of time has passed, for most of them, of course. there are casualties that do occur with stillborns or some that just don't make it. Well, we've come over to some other impalas here in Zimbabwe, as well as some marabou storks that are here at the hide. And a baboon. You can't forget about them. Jane Ludlow, you sent through some interesting observation and information, which I will definitely keep in the back of my mind when I head to India next year, with regard to the difference between lions and tigers, saying that when you have an approaching game vehicle, they don't look at the driver until they've passed, whereas a tiger seems to look at whoever is on the vehicle long before they're passing. So I'll definitely have to keep that in mind. I'm going to carry on with this in a moment, but let's send you over to another waterhole in the meantime. Here we go. Here's a elephant with a floppy ear having a drink. And it's always fascinating, Jane, to note things like that with animals and different behaviors. I, of course, have not seen a tiger yet, but next year in April, I'm heading up a private safari that's going into India, and we're going to explore two of their renowned national parks and tiger reserves, where we're going to go and explore the Indian wilderness. We're going to be accompanied by an expert local guide, and I will be there every step of the way to make sure that the trip is as perfect as it can be, to look after you all and just make sure that we have an amazing time with unforgettable memories and moments. I, for one, am very excited. The chance to see, of course, tigers, the Indian leopard, some interesting antelopes and bird species. It's going to be incredible. I can't wait. And if you are interested, there are still some places available. So if you'd like any more info, you can head over to wildearth.travel. Llewellyn, it's a good question, and I think many of you may be wondering if that ear would hinder this elephant bull at all, and I would say likely not. I mean, he has probably had that potentially all his life. Oh, you can see it actually does flop back a little bit there when he leads back. I'm not sure exactly when he would have maybe sustained an injury, but also likely that that ear was just born like that for him, and that bit of cartilage was bent in that way, or there was a weakness, and that fold happens for this particular elephant. Anyway, the fact that he survived, he's now, I would say, over 20 years old at least, means that he is doing well, and that is not hindering him in a way that is significant. There may be some compromise that's given to his hearing just because of the way that that's over the ear hole itself. So of course that might not be as clear as if it was open or backwards. But I think he's so used to it, it doesn't even bother him anymore. Well, let's head over to our favorites at Lentor. Well, we are going to head over to some beautiful bee eaters at Tembo Plains. Oh wow, look at this. We can see the colors so beautifully, and very successful hunters here. Both got some insects that I'm sure they're going to very shortly munch down. Now, I'm not sure why they're holding on to their food. It could be that they are just giving it a little bit more time, maybe, to ensure that it's dead. Or maybe their tummies are full. They're just like, I'll just hang on to you, have a little bit of a rest. I don't know if they have a bet between the two of them, like who's going to not eat their food for the longest. And so they're trying to control their temptation. Nadine says that it's intermittent fasting, so they've got to wait till, I don't know, when their 8 hours began or whatever it is, but maybe at 1 o'clock is when they can start swallowing. But they're looking all the time, aren't they? I think there's a lot of their nesting sites just below them. Bee eaters will use sort of, whether it's along drainage lines or even around waterholes where there's banks basically that have washed out, and they will use, basically make holes in those sides of the banks to nest. Melinda, you loving the pink beaters? Yes, they are very good, and also are known to beat around whatever it is that they catch, often against a branch or the ground, mushing it up so that it's easier to swallow. I haven't seen these two do it, but maybe they did do it earlier. Well, it's always lovely to get a beautiful view of these very pretty birds. We're going to head over to some elephants that have arrived at King's Camp. Oh wow, I love it when this happens. when the Eddies get nice and close to where we are. We've got a mom and baby just next to us here, and a few on the far side too. Kevin, you say that, and it's true. Although I'm not exactly sure what casing is around this camera. Some of them are quite well protected in terms of being encased around rocks and things, so the elephants can't actually get to it. But at one of the other locations the other day, the elephants kept bumping it so that it sort of rubbing up against the tree, I think, and it was being pushed down. So we just had a view of the ground. So those that are a little bit more exposed actually can be at risk. You are quite right.
This unfolds in front of you.
The bush, full of beauty, wonder, and absolute chaos. And now, all that madness has its own show. It's called a Wild Bush Week. The countdown of the most outrageous, heart-stopping, and sometimes downright ridiculous wildlife moments of the week. Lions throwing their weight around. Hyenas gate-crashing the buffet. Leopards doing, well, leopardy things. Each week, it's a fresh reel of safari gold, a mix of drama,
She's just got an impala, everybody.
danger, and a healthy dose of laughter. So, if you fancy a highlight show with bite, and I don't mean just the animals, tune in to a Wild Bush Week. You bring the tea, and we'll bring the tusks, tails, and teeth.
Well, this is just a fantastic ending to a wonderful drive. We do have a few more minutes left, and hopefully not all of these elephants disappear, but we've had such a lovely show this morning into this afternoon, with such a variety of different species, a lot of different locations as well. And these ellies are just a little treat here to see them also so close to the camera. Oh, we have another one incoming. Okay, well, while these eddies hang out here, let's quickly pop over to Serengeti for a bird. Ooh, so this looks like a woodland kingfisher, everyone. Now remember, we are in Tanzania, and very soon this bird should be coming down south to us, so it just shows they haven't left just yet. But interesting, unless this is where it migrates to from a different part of Africa, so I'll have to just check. But it is a woodland, but this is what we are expecting to see in the south here, in the Lowveld and in different parts of southern Africa very soon. Well, this has been a little treat. Hopefully we'll be seeing these woodland kingfishers down south soon. But like I say, I haven't yet, and it just shows they're still hanging out around the equator at the moment. And they come down to southern Africa in the summer for their breeding. So likely to not be hearing this bird doing its call here at the moment. But still, what a stunning view we have of it. And it's been a wonderful show, everyone. We just have a few minutes left, so thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great to chat to you all. Thank you for all of your comments and questions today. And Nathan, yes, those elephants were definitely a big grey cherry on top of this safari cake. So we will be back tomorrow, everybody. I will be here for my last show this week. And I'm looking forward to being back with you again. Who knows what we're going to find. And looking forward to seeing, as always, maybe we'll see more woodland kingfishers. Maybe we'll see some in southern Africa. Who knows? But we will have to wait to find out. For everyone who is going to be joining the Members and Explorers Drive this afternoon, enjoy that. Otherwise, we'll see the rest of you all tomorrow once again. So from myself and the team here at Live at the Waterhole, we wish you a pleasant day or evening ahead, depending where you are in the world, and keep well, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.